Today we're going to be looking at wrapping up Excel Project 3, going over some of the more challenging concepts so you'll be ready to ace that part in the final. We also will have some little practice on it, review before the final. But let's take a look at that last part, which was a what-if analysis, and then I've got some problems to throw at you just to practice these ideas. So let's take a look at what we finished up with by going to Excel and opening up my previous project. And up comes Excel. Going to my previous project, section 1. Here's where we ended up. You should have something like this, where we have a Manola Department Stores projections for 6 months. We entered these numbers. Remember whenever I check the homework, one of the first things I do is do control squiggle or control tilde upper left tick mark to see that you have entered functions there and not the numbers that you see in the book, because it's more important that you understand formulas. Don't just enter the numbers. And we did a goal seek with a what if. I made a copy of this spreadsheet, leaving this to be my original. Went to what if, and here's what we did with our little what if analysis. I'll shade that just for fun here. The deal was, we're looking for a change in operating income. We wanted to end up at $3,500,000, starting at that value. So we have a what change are we seeking, and what caused the change to happen. We started at 10% site rental. We negotiated down to less payment on rental, resulting in a higher net operating income at the end of the year. That was our what if analysis there. And we're going to practice the goal seeking part. Just a review with the goal seek. I was seeking for a value here to meet the board. The board said, hey, I need that to be $3,500,000. What will it take to get to $3,500,000? So I did a data what if analysis goal seek. Because I was there when I clicked goal seek, it automatically looks at, oh, I want to set the cell you're on to be some value, and that was the board said, hey, I want the value to be $3.5 million. And then you say in the meeting, well, what can we change? Well, how about we negotiate a better site rental? And that's when we then said, okay, Excel can change site rental until the operating income after 6 months, the total operating income will be $3,500,000. And Excel then, after we clicked OK, Excel tweaked the value of site rental until it got exactly $3,500,000 in its final value. So since I already did this, you can see it had already successfully done the goal seek. Now let's do a little practice goal seek just for an understanding of this. And I decided to bring up a very practical example. Let's go to our practice tab and practice our goal seeking skills. So on the practice tab, actually, let's make another tab. We'll call it our goal seeking practice. Let's make another tab. We'll leave that one alone. Let's go to another sheet. I'm going to name it goal seek practice. Practice. Now this is something that you can come back to as you graduate and you decide you need to buy a home. Here's the kind of thing that we're going to be looking at. We're going to look at a home loan. Now this is not in the book, so you better pay attention if you want to get this part. We're looking for the value of a home. Currently, we're just saying, hey, let's say we're looking at a home, moderately priced, $300,000. Current interest rates right now is about 6%. And we're expecting to have a standard loan of 30-year mortgage. And now we have a monthly payment where we can use a very valuable function in Excel. I'm going to stretch this out. This is a function called payment. If you just look up online, what function in Excel helps me calculate payment on a loan? PMT is the name of the function. Hit PMT left parenthesis, and this will tell me the payment given a rate every month. So the payment rate would be my interest rate divided by 12, because that function takes the monthly interest rate. And then n periods means how many payments is it going to be? Well, it's how many years. That function times 12, because that's how many payments are going to be. The present value is, hey, how much is the loan I'm taking out? Well, I'm going to take out a loan for that price of house. And I hit, there's other optional parameters I don't need to enter. This will tell me, given 6% interest at a 30-year and a $300,000 loan, I will be paying $17.98 per month. And I think to myself, what house can I afford if I can pay $2,000 a month? Well, that would be a goal seek of $2,000. So we want to see a goal seek of $2,000 payment. What would I change? Well, what value of the house? So there's my goal seek. Seek $2,000 on that cell by changing that. So let's do the goal seek. It's up here under data, what if analysis, goal seek. And just to make it easy to start, let's click on the cell I want to goal seek on before I click the goal seek. So then it automatically knows that's the value that I'm goal seeking. So goal seek, to what value? $2,000. What cell do I want to change? Well, I could hope for a better interest rate and negotiate down a better interest rate so I could afford something more. But I can only goal seek on one thing. I'm going to goal seek on $2,000. How much of a house can I get that would cost me $2,000 a month? Yes, PJ.
How did you get to the goal seek?
I click on the cell where I want to goal seek on,
Okay.
data,
Okay.
what if analysis,
Okay.
goal seek. To value $2,000, and I'm going to change the cell. Well, the value of the house. I know that I could afford a slightly more house, but rather than me trying to figure out, let's just say Excel, find out how much of a house will give me a payment at $2,000 a month at 6% interest rate. And I click OK, and Excel finds a negative value. Well, that's because I did the goal seek by the normal signs for the payment is a negative number. So I could go back and say, wait a minute, I'm seeking, since it's a negative number there, I'm going to do a goal seek of a negative $2,000. So I don't have all my signs suddenly change and the value of the house. I can afford at those interest rates $333,000 before I'm over my budget, my monthly budget that I'm planning for that house. So there's one example of a goal seek. Now you could write that number down and click cancel, or you could say, okay, I'm going for it, but let's do a cancel and do another goal seek for a little practice. So my answer here was about 333K. That's my answer. Now another question is, what interest rate will allow me to afford a $400,000 home? You can wait for the interest rates to come down. Well, what would that be the goal seek of? Well, In this case, I'm saying I can afford $2,000 a month. So in that case, I would say, well, let's put minus 2,000 here. That would be my monthly payment. And I want to goal seek 400 on that one. So now my goal seek changes to this. This is now becoming the goal seek number. And this is the change. And this is the knowing what I can afford now. So that no longer becomes my goal seek. I'm goal seeking on a different value of what interest rate. Usually the number I'm trying to figure out what it should be. That's the number I'm goal seeking on. The first case was, what would the payment be? What would get me to $2,000 payment? And what value of house that would be. So I'm changing my payment. Here I'm saying, what change in my interest rate will allow me to afford $400,000? So this is what I'm goal seeking. I want to adjust the interest rate so at a payment of $2,000 a month, I can afford a $400,000 home. Let's find out. What if analysis? Goal seek. I want to oh, wait a minute. Wrong goal seek, cancel. The goal seek is here. That's the 400,000 I'm seeking on. I clicked on the wrong cell. I'm goal seeking on 400,000. Now I could have just retyped B2 there, but just so I'm consistent here. That's what I'm goal seeking on. I want to see if I can get a $400,000 home. And what cell do I want to change? I could type B3 or point to B3. That's what I'm hoping for interest rate. What interest rate change will get me to 400,000? Knowing I can afford $2,000 a month. And let's see what interest rate it will take. What happened? It must contain a formula. That has a form. What did I do wrong? Wait a minute. I want to change the interest rate. Oh, maybe I might have done this wrong. I did this wrong. I want to afford a $400,000 home. I did this wrong. Sorry. This is what I want to afford. This is one I want to change. I still want to make sure that I only goal seek this much payment, this much a monthly payment. So goal seek $200,000 given I want to afford a $400,000 home. So what will give me $2,000? Oh, and that is, I have to change that back to my, that's what I did wrong. I want to change that back to my formula. This has to be that formula again because I'm seeking 200,000 or 2,000 a month. So again, this is the value I want to afford. This is the interest rate, and the payment. I don't type in the payment. I still have to use that payment function of the rate is that divided by 12. The number of periods is that times 12. That's the number of months. And what I want to afford is that. Currently, at 6%, I can't afford that. So I want to goal seek to 2,000 by changing the interest rate. Now we're ready to goal seek. Right now at $400,000, I can't afford it at 6% interest rate. Now let's do the goal seek. What if goal seek? I'm seeking $2,000, what I can afford. By changing, oh, I better make that a negative 2,000, a payment of 2,000. By changing the cell, B3. Now we find out what interest rate will get me there, and an interest rate of 4%. Let's Click OK, and let's see what the full value of that is. Let's increase our decimals. 4.39%. Typically it'd go in by quarter, so 4 1/4, 4.5. So once it gets down to 4 1/4, I know that I can afford a $400,000 home. It's ridiculous how much homes are costing, but that's a moderate. That's a moderate size home these days. That used to be big bucks, big fancy schmancy homes. Okay. One more thing. Suppose I want to pay it off early. What price can I afford at a 15-year loan? Again, afford means $2,000 per month payment. What price can I afford at a 15-year loan? So let's change this to 15 year. The payment will jump up. Uh-oh. Now I want to find out, go seek to $2,000 on that again by changing the price of a house I can afford. And I'll put this at 4 1/4 interest just for a realistic. Say we do have interest rates of 4 1/4. If I want to pay it off early, uh-oh, I better not get as expensive a house. Let's goal seek now. We're always goal seeking. When I talk about what can I afford, I'm goal seeking at that $2,000 a month. And I have to decide, what am I going to change? Well, I'm trying to find out what can I afford. That's what I have to change in order to meet my affordability. So let's do the goal seek on that again. What can I afford? Goal seek to what I know in my budget, $2,000. Data, what if, goal seek. Set the cell to what? Negative 2,000, that's my payment. By changing cell, 400,000. If I were changing this, then I'd be saying, what interest rate does it have to be before I can afford a $400,000 home? Here I'm saying, what value home can I afford given a fixed or current interest rate of 4.5, or hopefully someday a 4.5 interest rate. I click OK, and let's see what I could afford in 15 years, and it jumps down to $265. And just for a little parental advice, if you can pay it off in 15 years, go for the smaller home, because there's another calculation of what you pay overall over the years. It is much larger than $265,000. The overall, anytime you take a loan out, remember you're paying way more, well, significantly more than the value of the home. Of course, if you could pay cash, that's another thing. You don't pay anything extra. But who has that much cash on hand? Unless you get a big inheritance, and then you can buy it all at once. So there's your little practice with goal seek. Now, a little practice, as I promised, a little practice with, what did I say? A little practice with the if formula. We're going to do the if formula practice now. Okay? So we'll keep that on the same page, I guess. If formula. Okay. Here is a few numbers. We'll call it my balance is, let's say it's $10,000. Grammy's gift, we'll say she's going to give us $5,000. She's rich grandma. Here is the statement you'll be given. Grammy sends a gift when my balance is below $5,000. All right. What is the gift this month? It'll depend on what my balance is. Grammy sends a gift when my balance is below $5,000. And here is where the formula will be. give you a little chance to think. Can you figure out what that formula should be for Grammy's gift? It's going to be an if formula. It's going to equal if something. Can you figure out what goes there? I'll give you a little chance to think about that. Grammy sends me a gift when my balance is below $5,000. Well, I know that the value of Grammy's gift is going to be $5,000. I have that in cell B14. My current balance is in cell B13. I guess I should have made her a gift a different number than 5,000. So she'll send me a gift of 5,000 if my balance is ever below 5,000. So what's the logical test here? Balance below 5,000. Well, that would be my balance there in B13 is less than $5,000. What does she send me? She sends the gift. And if my balance is not below 5,000, what do I get for a gift? 0. If I don't put a 0 there, I'll get a false instead of a mathematical 0. There is the answer to the if question. What would the gift be? And I hit enter. Do I get a gift this month? No, my balance is above 5,000. Let's put a balance of 4,000 and let's see if I get the gift. Yes, I do. So there's my little test to see, is it proper? If I have a large balance in my bank, no gift from Grammy. I know I'm okay. She doesn't need to help me out. Let's do another one here. More related to labor market. Let's make one. We have a quota of 100 parts. And bonus is $10,000. They're very expensive parts. And they really want to give us incentive to meet our quota. My work, I have made 99 parts. My bonus. What's the formula for my bonus this month? Give you a chance to think about it. It starts with equal if. Think about what the logical test is. It's implied in the words. I didn't write it out as a sentence. I guess you could imply you get your bonus if you met your quota. So what will be the logical test? My work is there in B20. If B20, now typically when I think of quota, it means you've either met or exceeded the quota. So I use greater than equal. Some people will just say greater than. But to me, when I say quota, that means if I make 100, I get my bonus. So I would say B20 greater than or equal to the quota. Comma, if I've met that, if that comes out to be true, do I get my bonus? That's the bonus I would get if I have met or exceeded the quota. Otherwise, nothing for my bonus. I suppose if it's a really harsh boss, you could be, you get fired. Are you still employed? We're just saying, no, you don't get your bonus if you haven't met the quota. Do I get the quota this month? No, my work wasn't enough. Oh, I made another part, 101. Hey, there I get my bonus. So all depends on this little logical problem. There's the logic. Met my quota. My work greater than or equal to the quota. The bonus that the boss says he'll give me if I meet my quota is there. And third parameter, I get 0 if I haven't met the quota. Is that making sense to you? I'll give another practice problem, but there will be a problem like that on the final. A goal seek of a little formula, a sentence like this, like if I get my bonus if I met the quota, or something similar, something realistic to give you a little practice with that formula. very often on tax tables, it might be something like you get the tax break if your dependents times some number is greater than $10,000. Otherwise, no tax break. Very common in government type documents. All right, now let's do one more practice sheet. Let's have another practice sheet. We're going to call it our multiplication table. Let's call this multiplication. If I were on the Beverly Hillbillies, we would call this ciphering. Going to do our ciphering. So let's put X for our multiplication table. And let's practice multiplication. How about 2 and above? So we'll put 2 and make that a 3. And select both and fill handle to the right. And we'll do a 2 and a 3. Oh, let's do something different. Let's do equal the one above it plus 1, just for a little variety here. And now fill handle that one down. And I get increase in numbers. Now, I want to put a formula here that I'm going to then copy, not redo, to fill in the rest of my multiplication table. So, let's figure out what it should be and put the dollar signs in the right places. It's going to be mixed absolute relative referencing. So, easy first part. Hey, what goes here is equal to that number times asterisk that number. Now, before I leave and get ready to fill handle down and fill handle across, what should not change when I fill down or across? Let's think about filling down. What should not change when I fill handle? What goes here should be B3 times, no, it should be B1 times A3, B1 times A4, B1 times A5. What isn't changing? The row, right? I always want to reference the row that I'm getting that number from as I go down. Oh, but I'm not done yet. As I go across, what column am I always multiplying by? Is it the A column all the time? Yeah, I'm always multiplying by what I see in the A column. So I better put a sticky on the A. See why that is? The dollar on the one means as I fill handle down, I'm always multiplying by what I see in row 1. I'm just typing the dollar.
Oh, okay.
I could have hit F4 multiple times till I get the dollar in the right place, or I could just type in a dollar there. So the F4 will toggle through. But remember what I'm saying here is when I fill handles down or across, I'm always getting the number from column A multiplied by the number in row 1 here. But as I go over, it will change the column, so I don't put the sticky on the column here, but I do put the sticky on the column here, not the sticky on the row. I do want the row to change as I go down. I'm multiplying by A2, A3, A4 times B1, C1, D1, E1. Now that I'm happy where the stickies are, now I can fill handle down and I should have a correct multiplication table. That's looking good. And then fill handle across. Oh, fill handle across. And I have a good multiplication table to practice my ciphering. Never hurts to practice that old multiplication table. The key here is we were going to fill handle. That's where we care about stickies. If I'm not going to copy the formula, you don't have to worry about absolute referencing. Now, one more little piece of practice. Oh, let's make sure here I'm not missing something. That's we want to practice absolute reference, goal seek. Yeah. Let's just do a few more practices here. Say I want to reference. Let's do a little budget here. Let's do a practice budget table. All right, again, we'll do another practice sheet. Why is it not? Oh, it doesn't let me go if I'm in the middle of that thing. Let's call this practice budget. Oops. Put income, job 1, job 2, total, expenses, biggest one will be mortgage, food, automotive, and clothing, and entertainment. Eating out and stuff. All right, let's put in some income for our months. Let's start with we'll just do 1 month. Maybe we'll do 2 months. January and February. Oh, and I forgot a number. I need a number here. Oh, I need extra rows here. Move these up. Our income. Oh, and we're also missing another row. Our balance. Forgot our balance. Our starting balance for January is $10,000. Income, job 1, we're expected to get $1,000. Job 2, $1,200. So our total income, well, it's summation of the incomes. Let's make up some projected expenses. Mortgage, going to afford that $400,000 home. Yeah. We'll just make up some numbers. $300 for food, auto, $200, and clothing. We're very expensive clothing, $500. We like to spend on clothes. Entertainment, oh yeah, we need entertainment. Now, ending balance. Oh, I forgot, we need a total expenses. We'll be summing those together. And now, ending balance. I call this the marriage saving formula because many marriages have tension due to financial issues. Well, our ending balance would be equal to the beginning balance plus total income minus total expenses. Beginning balance plus income minus total expenses. I hit enter and I should have less each month. I'm spending $1,000 more than I earn each month. We got a problem. What is February's beginning balance? Yeah, just a second. The February beginning balance is the same as, equal to, the ending balance of January. I can just reference a cell. February balance is the same as the ending balance of January. And I hit enter. And now I'll let you see the formulas again just for practice. The total income is just the sum of what's above. This is the very important formula. Beginning balance plus income minus expenses. That will be your ending balance for January becomes the beginning balance of February. Make sure you understand that because that will be a very important formula, not only on the final, but in your marriage or in your employment. If you're not going to be married, you always have to keep a budget, unlike our government. Is that making sense? Okay. The rest of Excel is using that to create wonderful lists of things or even financial charts. And Excel Project 3 is complete. Ready to save that and upload to populate. If you have any questions about any of the goal seeking, the what if analysis, the if formula, I can give you some more practice, or I think the book talks about it carefully as well. It goes over that if formula with little diagrams. Sometimes looking at it a different way will help you understand things. And close that and send it up to populate. What's that?
Can you go back to the budget practice?
Okay. So started with the balance of 10. I'll just hit Control tilde so you'll see my formulas. This total income is the sum of those two incomes. Cool thing is, when I'm in this mode, if I click on any formula, it shows me what that range stands for. And when I click on that, it shows me those are the two numbers, or three numbers I'm using in my math. My beginning balance plus income minus total expenses. Yeah.
I'm trying to turn in my project. It says there's an
Error in populi?
like if I drag it to submit the file.
Uh-huh.
It just says error.
Weird. Let's see what's going on there. So go ahead and drag it over. So you get that. And now is Excel closed? Sometimes I see the problem if Excel is still open. Maybe close Excel and see if then it's happy. Sometimes that happens.
I think
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever have a trouble uploading it, check that Excel closes. I've seen that happen occasionally when Word has a file too. If Word has it open, it's like it doesn't want to let it go, even though it's been saved.
now it's not there.
Let's see, if that doesn't work, try the click on that box next. There it goes. Okay. I can't explain why that happened with Populi. If we can get a consistent behavior, we could tell Dr. Kosin that, hey, here's what we're seeing, and I can describe the steps. If we can get it to repeat. If it just happens once, it's like they're not going to help us. They say, well, we can't make it happen. You must have done something else. But if we can do it consistently and show them, I have a feeling it's because Excel had it open. I can't explain why it even set it up a little bit, didn't show. I'd say, well, maybe Populi had the error first and then decided not to show you it. What we're going to be doing next, since we have some time, we're going to be bringing in data for graphing in Excel. And let's just take a look at that next assignment, just get you a heads up on what's coming. Let me go over to Populi and show you the next thing. If I look at assignments, see if I have the details in the assignments. It's called, oh, it's not listed there, but it is in the syllabus. The syllabus lists it as whatever it's being called river data import. We're going to be looking at some river data. Let me show you that the river data, what it looks like, and I will be updating the assignments. I see that although it's in the syllabus, it didn't make it yet into Populi. So let me pull it up and show you, just give you a taste of what's coming. I'll look for river. I have a file that explains it all here. Oh, well, I guess I don't have my, there it is, river data. That is the document, I think. Let's see what that says. No, that's not it. We're going to be looking for Maybe I can just find it on the internet for you. If I go here out to the internet, I'm going to bring up a browser. Bring a browser page over here. I'll go look at Mississippi River height history. And I gotta get Mississippi spelled right. Too many IS's in there. On the internet, there are storage of the data, and I think it's that first link that takes me to the historical observations by the weather service. Let's see if that's the place. And there's data all over the internet for anything you're looking for. Here we have U.S. Geological Survey archive data. I'm going to go there and continue. And what I'm looking for is data that I can bring into Excel and do my own graphing. Here I can go look for some data. I'm looking for the Mississippi River. Select a state from the map to access real-time data. Let's go choose a state. Let's go to Iowa here. And what I'm looking for is current flow rates in a river. And let's just look here. Now I could be looking for market data for coffee bean prices and see how they're varying. If they peak every December 1st, maybe now would be a good time to buy the coffee. If I can predict fairly reliably that at a certain time it's always going to be high, in this case I am looking at the height of the river at a certain range of days. I can zoom out all the way out to looks like a 5-day or so. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be grabbing some data, or let's see if I can change the time span. It's graphing it for me, but suppose I want to be able to graph it myself. Let's look for 1 year. It'll give me a graph that looks like that. I want to practice graphing that myself by getting the data and showing how I can take data like this and generate for myself the graph from the data. And that will require me to download the data and bring it into Excel. So this is what we'll be doing next time. We'll be going to get some data, bringing it into Excel, and see if we can do this, and then maybe compare one graph to another, like up here in Dubuque, and then maybe downstream, down by Davenport or further down, and see, do a little scientific research. If it's a peak in Dubuque at a certain day, how long does it take to peak in Davenport or peak in St. Louis? And then we'll say, hey, those locks and dams are helping even out the river flow, saving St. Louis from floods. So that's what we'll be doing next time, is we'll be going to get data and graphing it ourselves to show that Excel can let us do things like this if the website doesn't give me enough. All right, have a wonderful day. Take time to develop those close personal relationships.
I never lost